What up, fam? It's your boy, Slenderboy 2024, streaming to you live. Yeah, has anyone heard from Slenderman 2024? I feel like he's gone radio silent in the wake of Slenderlord 2024's threatening videos. I don't know. No one's heard from him. Yeah, I guess it's just me at the moment. The show must go on. I know I just did a PS5 Chronicles, but I don't know. This is another one I've kind of been bouncing around for a while. I really liked the effed up manga reviews that I did, like the Pumpkin Night videos. I think I've said that before, but those are some of my favorite videos that I've made. And I kind of want to do something similar with like anime, with like crazy anime that I've seen. But like I watch a lot of stuff, okay, and it's like it's one of those things like I can't make a video on every single crazy thing that I watch, thing that I watch. I know you're all jealous. Of my Lilo and Stitch watch here. That's neither here nor there. I just want to show off my watch. But yeah, I watch a lot of crazy stuff, so I can't. I need to be a little more discerning. Like with Pumpkin Night, I read some effed up manga, but that's like an especially crazy manga. So I was like, that was a clear choice for me. Same thing with like video games and stuff. It's like I'm not gonna talk about every single video game I play ever, but like something like Gory Cuddly Carnage, that's so crazy. I kind of needed to talk about it a little bit. But yeah, I've seen some crazy anime in my day. And I'm a big fan of sports anime, okay? And that's the funny thing is, like, my friends and I always say this is like anime is one of those things where they can take you can take any topic, and you can make it interesting, okay? I've seen golf anime that's exciting. I've seen volleyball anime that's exciting. I've seen freaking fly fishing anime that gripped me. I'm not even kidding. Like they can do anything. They can do anything. One sport in particular that I'm kind of bored by and would never watch in real life is baseball. And there's a couple of choices out there. Like, given any sport that you may like, there's definitely an anime equivalent. But I wanted to talk about an anime that I watched recently about baseball called Tribe 9. And Tribe 9, not to be confused with Tribe 12, okay? It's very different. Let me break it down. Tribe 9 is the anime. Tribe 12 is a famous YouTube series. Basically, when you talk about the Slender Man various ARGs or YouTube series, there's basically the big three, okay? Everyone knows there's Marble Hornets, that's number one. Tribe 12 is also very good. I'd say that's a close second for me, Tribe 12. And then Everyman Hybrid is a number 3. So those are like the big three as far as like the Slender Man, YouTube content things going on. At least that's the common opinion. That's neither here nor there. I just want to kind of, shamelessly, I wanted to squeeze in a little reference to something else in relation to Slender Man. Yeah, the OG Slender Man, he's been on my case. I've been doing all these dumb fast food videos that he hates, and like he just wants me to, every once in a while, if I can squeeze in a reference to something related to Slender Man, I will. So this was like the perfect opportunity. Tribe 9, Tribe 12, yeah, like go look that up as well. But yeah, Tribe 12, Tribe 9. We're here to talk about Tribe 9, and this review will include extensive spoilers. Just a warning. Yes, believe it or not, there's a plot. There are big events to spoil. Believe it or not. There's a major event in episode 3 that the show kind of shifts gears and changes after episode 3. Not unlike Gurren Lagann, not unlike Madoka Magica, some pretty big shit goes down. So before you like get spoiled on that, I kind of want to talk about. I'll put the visual aid away for a moment because that has a spoiler on it. Before I go into spoilers, so yeah, talking real basic. Tribe 9. So who's this for? So it takes place in. Let me just bring up so. Obviously, like you're gonna look at this and you're barely gonna recognize that it's baseball, right? So like I say that it's a baseball anime in the loosest of terms, and that's probably why I like it so much, because I don't really care much for baseball. If you're someone who like is a diehard baseball fan, and I'm gonna separate that from like a sports anime fan, because those two are rarely the same person. If you're like a diehard baseball fan or sports fan, you might enjoy this if you still like anime in general. Like if you watch like Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, stuff like that. This is like a really solid action anime, so I think you might still have some fun with it. But if you just like are here for the baseball, you might be a little disappointed. You know what I mean? Like, they're not gonna really follow the rules of the game or teach you how to play the game or anything. For something like that, I'm trying to think. I'm not as well versed in baseball anime. I think there's Ace of Diamond. Didn't Production IG do that? It has some pretty good animation. Ace of Diamond, I think people like that one. That might be like the best rated one as far as like realistic quote unquote baseball anime. Yeah, this is like on the side of like you have like your semi-realistic shows like Haikyuu, Ace of Diamonds, stuff like that, and then you have the sports anime that I really like. You go into like your Prince of Tennis's, you know what I mean? Your Tribe 9. So like Prince of Tennis, that's another one where like, oh, tennis the anime, that's probably boring as shit. No, they have powers. Like you'd be surprised. Sports, like when sports anime goes hard, it goes harder than like most shonen anime. It's like, this is for me, it's like Naruto, Bleach level. Okay, so Tribe 9, it takes place in the future. It's in Neo Tokyo, and they play something called XB, which stands for Xtreme Baseball. Xtreme Baseball, okay? This isn't your little kids, this isn't your little brother's baseball, right? This is extreme. There's softball, there's baseball, and then there's XB, bitch. Okay, Xtreme Baseball. You're not ready for this shit, man. Like, look at this shit. Look at this craziness. Like, this is the funny thing. I originally saw this picture, and like that's what sold me on Tribe 9. This is not an ad for the anime. This is an ad for the game. So the funny thing is, like 90% of these characters don't appear in the show that I watched. I remember I saw it and I was like, "Ooh, who's that?" Or like, "Oh, that girl's cute." Like, who's that? Or "Ooh, what's going on here with this muscular Amazon woman?" None of these characters appear in the anime. He does. He's a pretty big important part of the anime. But yeah, so that's the other thing you need to go in knowing is that Tribe 9 is actually an advertisement for a mobile game. Yeah, like there's so much craziness. That's why I knew I needed to make a video on this subject, because this show is so crazy and there's so much crazy backstory to this anime that like you just okay. So and I should have included a picture of this, but like Google the video game Danganronpa. Okay, anyone who knows, you know that's like a cool murder mystery game, but like it has a very, very distinctive art style, and the artist from Danganronpa also worked on the game/anime for Tribe 9. And so you have all these crazy elements. You have like a mobile game, you have like the Danganronpa artist, you have like this crazy sci-fi baseball anime. Like it's like, what is this, bro? I love it. So for me, this was like a 10 out of 10. This is like a legendary sports anime and the reason I'm making this video is like I don't hear anyone talking about it. I don't hear anyone talking about Tribe 9, and I want people to know about this anime. It's streaming on Crunchyroll. I don't think it's on Netflix. I think your best bet to find this is on Crunchyroll, actually, but it's totally worth it. I highly recommend it to anime fans, to sports anime fans, baseball fans. That's where like maybe I would try Ace of Diamond first. What's another one? Oh, there's one I really liked back in the day called One Outs. That was like more of a psychological anime that happened to have baseball in it. That was like Death Note meets baseball. One Out. I might have to do an episode on that eventually, but One Outs is like incredibly hard to find. It was never brought over to this country, so like you have to like find it through other means. And yeah, it might, and it's definitely like not a popular show, so it might be very hard to find actually. Anyway, Tribe 9. Yeah, I say give it a go. That's my short, my non-spoiler review. I'm gonna get into some spoilers now. So, okay, so here's the funny thing. Again, so Tribe 9, the anime came. This is the anime right here. This is the cast of the anime. The anime came out in 2022 to promote the mobile game. However, the mobile game was heavily delayed, and the mobile game didn't come out until this February of 2025. So the anime predates the game that it's advertising. That's just like a little. I love everything about this show. It's just so ridiculous and insane and off the wall. So the game, I played a little. I downloaded it. I played it a little bit. I was very curious about all these like new characters and stuff, and I do think it's worth it to do both because they're very different experiences. And like I said, you get a different cast of characters between the show and the anime, and I think they do like kind of cross over a little bit. And obviously take place in the same world and everything. but the game did not do very well. Like I said, it just came out this year, and it's already been announced that it's shutting down services in November, I think. So if you had any interest in the game, I would download it right now. It's free to play. It has like in-app purchases, I think. But yeah, I would download it now because it's going to go away by the end of this year. So act now. And the game is weird too. It's like a turn-based RPG, I think. Like I didn't get very far, but like the game starts out, you're like trapped in like a old school NES Dragon Quest type of video game. You're like trying to escape. It's very strange. Like I was not prepared. There was no baseball in the game that I played. I didn't get to that part yet. But yeah, Tribe 9 XB. So okay, so in this world, it's in Neo Tokyo. It's in the future, and everyone plays XB. And instead of teams, you belong to a tribe. And it's pretty much like, you see the one biker dude who's basically in like a biker gang. Yeah, the tribes, they might as well be like gangs, okay? And it is like a no holds bar, free for all, like gang war type of thing, where like a tribe will challenge you to a game of XB, and then like, you know, you win or lose, and you have to give up your turf, so to speak, and like there's like penalties and stuff, and it gets really intense. So the XB, the difference between that and like normal baseball, you have special gear, special equipment, like you have a special, you know, special glove, special bat, special ball, okay? And when you hit the ball, so like here we go. Here, see that tower in the background? So that would be like first base. Like the whole city is your baseball diamond, if you know what I mean. So like you'll hit the ball super freaking hard and it'll fly over to Tokyo Tower, and that's first base. And so you're using your super running shoes or whatever to get to first base. And like the way the rules work is like, you know, it's not like totally a free for all. It's not like there are rules. So like, you know, if you hit the ball, I can't just like tackle you and like, you know, beat you up. Like, well, I kind of can. So the difference is like, I hit the ball, right? I hit your pitch, and then if you catch the ball and you want to stop me from running to first, that's when you can do whatever you want. Like, as long as you're holding the ball and like you justify it by like, I'm stopping him from running to first, you can like beat the shit out of me. Like we can go into like, you know, shonen battle mode, and that's, I believe, what this RPG here is. Like there's like turn-based combat and shit. And it gets really wild. Even in the anime, the game seems even crazier. Like, look, there's like a freaking tiger, an Amazoness woman. But the show is also pretty wild to begin with. So if you do break the rules, like if you just like attack someone out of turn, there are these umpire robots. You see him in the center right there. These umpire robots that like fly out, and they're like, oh, rule violation, and they tase you. They freaking tase you and knock you the fuck out. So they do kind of police that. Well, in the beginning, we'll get to that. Yeah, they police it at first. But yeah, so this starts off as like a lighthearted type of show. It's like a comedy, sports action. You got main boy Haru right here wearing the baseball cap. He's just like a normal boy, and he gets like inducted into like the tribe, Tribe 9, by this gentleman here, Kamiya. Kamiya is the tribe leader, so like he sees something in Haru. And in fact, Haru and this red-haired guy Taiga, they get inducted at the same time, and it's actually a pretty cool scene because I like how they get into this like little brawl, this like fist fight with these bullies, and the one bully punches Haru, and he like goes flying backwards, and Taiga is there, this red-haired guy Taiga. He's like kind of the stereotypical like, you know, hot-blooded shonen guy. Who always wants to like pick a fight or whatever. But he kind of like talks to Haru about it later, and he's like, so like, why didn't you like, you know, like, why didn't you obviously have good eyesight, you have good battle instincts, like why didn't you fight back? Because he talks about how like, oh yeah, I noticed that like you saw that punch coming, and you like jumped backwards to like you lessen the blow. That's why you flew so far back. Like you were basically jumping backwards when the punch hit you. That was like a really cool moment. So like, you know, Haru is like kind of like, you know, a more experienced fighter than he's letting on, like hiding in plain sight type of thing. I always like characters like that. But yeah, they both joined this tribe with Kamiya, and he's like, you know, he's like their rock man. Like he is the one who inspires them to like keep playing baseball and everything. Like he is the team leader. This may remind you quite a bit of Kamina. So there's Kamiya and there's Kamina. Don't get confused. I'm sure that's just a coincidence. But here's where we go into spoilers. Anyone who's watched Gurren Lagann knows that like Kamina was like the heart and soul of Team Lagan. Like, he was like the team leader. He was like the hot-blooded shonen hero who led the way, and then Simon and the rest, they were just kind of along for the ride. But then he shockingly dies early on in the series, and it's like, oh shit, like, now what? And like Simon kind of becomes the main character. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, the same thing happens with Kamiya. there's a shockingly high body count in the show. Yeah, there's like a death toll in this baseball anime. I can't believe it. This happens in episode 3. In episode 3, we kind of like have this major change in the show because Kamiya dies, and then his sort of girlfriend Arisugawa, she kind of becomes she becomes the new team leader because they don't know what to do after Kamiya's loss. But yeah, what happened was. So basically, Kamiya, they had this running gag where he's like addicted to coffee, but he gets like these coffee hangovers. Like, he'll drink too much coffee and then he'll like start throwing up, like, bleh, and like that's supposed to be funny. But what they explain later on is that Kamiya had always been sick, and like the coffee, quote unquote, was actually his medicine that he had to take, and that's why it would like kind of make him sick and throw up. So that's already like going on in the background, and then in episode 3, that's when they have their big first like showdown with like the main villain. This dude in the mask called Ojiro. He's the main villain of the series, and he has like a bunch of like evil stooges. Like that horned demon guy in the upper right corner. That's what his stooges look like. But yeah, the Ojiro tribe. It's a whole family. It's a whole family. His father runs it, and they're like kind of the XB aristocracy or the XB emperors or whatever. Like they make the rules and they run everything. But they have this like brutal contest, and Ojiro, he basically punches Kamiya so hard his fist goes through him or whatever. And they do the same thing with Kamiya. If you remember back in the day, like Kamiya got slashed really bad, but then he like teamed up with Simon to fight the villain, and he's like, no, like I'm still okay. And then it's only after the battle Simon's like trying to talk to him, and he just like kind of slumps over or slouches over, and like that's it. So the same thing happened with Kamiya. Like took that horrible blow, but then he gets back up and they finish the game and everything. And then he even like that's the really weird thing is like he goes to the hospital, in fact, and then they release him, and then he's like hanging out with the crew, and they have like a dinner together, and he's like fine. And then he's like, oh, I need to step out for a second, and he like goes over to the streetlight, and then the same thing with Kamiya. He just like slouches over, and he's dead. And like that makes even less sense because it's like, okay, well, I thought he went to the hospital. Like, Kamiya at least died in the field of battle. Kamiya, it's like, okay, he was injured, but then we took him to the hospital, and then they released him. What's up with that? If he was dying, why would they release him? And he seemed fine. He had dinner with everyone, and then he's like, oh, let me just step out for a minute. Die, whatever. It is a very dramatic moment, and it changes the team. It really, like, changes the team. Everyone kind of has to pick up the slack now. Well, then that's when this other character, this blue-haired character, Aoyama, joins the team. He gets involved, and he's kind of cool, but he's a lot. He's definitely like the sarcastic, or not sarcastic, this like sort of cynical, condescending, like I'm so much smarter than everyone else. And to be fair, these guys are all idiots, so he is, and he kind of appears at a time where like they really did need his help. So there you go. But yeah, let me back up a second. So in episode 1, this is what sets the tone. The first game of XB, they fight this guy, this pitcher, who okay, so he's like, they have a robot like catcher or whatever, because only a robot can like handle like the intense pitch that this guy throws. But the main guy, the main villain of episode 1, his arm like transform. Again, this is like all legal XB gear, if you will. His arm transforms into like a Mega Man Buster arm, and he's like, oh, like I have a special XB suit, and it's basically like a rail gun for baseballs, and he like fires it, and it's so fast you can't even see it, and like makes the umpire robot like fly backwards and almost explode. And like, so that's the tone. Like that's XB, okay? It's not your normal baseball. It's anime baseball, which means it's something completely fucking different. And people die. People actually literally die because this sport is so intense, and people get really, really hurt. Kamiya always had this like special bat, and Haru, I guess, kind of. It was funny because I thought Haru was going to be the team leader, but he just joined, and all these other people suck. And like Arisugawa was sort of his girlfriend, or sort of Kamiya's girlfriend, and she's the only one like kind of a good head on her shoulders, so she kind of becomes the new team leader. But Kamiya like bequeathed his like special bat to Haru, and one of my favorite scenes in the show is like of course it's like a special baseball bat. When you turn it on, it's basically like a lightsaber. I'm not even kidding. It like glows and like makes a beam sword sound, which is fine because they're not pitching normal baseballs. They're pitching like whatever the hell this is, this like energy sphere. But yeah, if you're not like worthy or if you're not like ready for it, Haru accidentally like activates the bat one time, and because he's not worthy, it like goes berserk and he's like swinging the bat around and he like destroys the locker room. It's a pretty funny scene actually. But yeah, it's a shame, like, because there was a lot of potential with Kamiya. Like, they set up like this rivalry between Kamiya and Ojiro, and obviously Kamiya dies early, and later it becomes Aoyama and Ojiro. But what's his face? The red-haired guy, Taiga, he had this good rivalry with Kamiya too. He was always striving to be on Kamiya's level, and of course he was always kind of failing. But it was a goal for him to reach, and like that's why he kind of becomes depressed after Kamiya dies. And we always, Arisugawa hints several times that Kamiya, he used to be known as the Destroyer. Like, he used to be not too different from Ojiro. Like, he would be like this merciless, cold-blooded, like, I'll do whatever it takes to win. Oh, you're my opponent. Like, I don't mind stepping on you to get ahead. And we only get a few mentions of that, a few like flashbacks of that. And it would have been cool to explore. I mean, we don't, he died, so we just kind of move on from that. It is a little rushed. Like, we have like basically like the one episode where they mourn his death, and then it's just back to the normal shonen action. It's like, oh, okay, it's like we didn't really stew on this long enough in my opinion. It happens too early, too suddenly, and we don't spend enough time on it. In my opinion, that's my one little critique. But I do like that. There are stakes. Like the sport is dangerous. Like, main characters sometimes die, and it's rough, man. It's rough. So I'm basically saying that Tribe 9 is the Gurren Lagann of baseball. Sure, why not? I wish this was as popular as Gurren Lagann. I wish people knew about Tribe 9. Danganronpa is pretty popular, so like I hope people discover this because of that artist. The artwork really is fantastic, and the things I liked about Danganronpa, for example, I've seen the anime version of that. I haven't played the game of that still, but the anime of that, like, really cool art style and like really good music. That's one thing I have to say right away. Tribe 9, don't skip the opening theme and don't skip the closing theme. The closing theme is even better, and all the battle music is also very, very good. The soundtrack is phenomenal. The soundtrack is fire. So yeah, definitely at least give the music a listen. But yeah, what else? So the little story arc that happens right after Kamiya dies is pretty interesting. So it's so strange. This one dude, he's like the leader of this biker gang, and they hear about Kamiya's death, and they know that like the tribe has been disbanded. Oh yeah, that was Ojiro's condition, by the way. Is like, oh, if I win, then your team has to disband, which they do. And then like the next episode, they just form a new team because they get a new player and they have a new leader, so they just reform the tribe immediately. I'm pretty sure that's not what Ojiro meant, but I guess technically they followed that rule because they disbanded and then they just they rebanded. that was kind of dumb, but whatever. But yeah, the douchebag motorcycle guy, he hears about their tribe disbanding, and so he kidnaps Arisugawa. Like, he and his crew show up and they knock her out and they drive off with her. Like, literally they sling her over their shoulder like a caveman. And the other guys find out and they're like, well, like, what? And they like debate it. They're like, well, what should we do? Should we go after them? And like some of the guys don't want to do it because they're like, well, we don't even play XB anymore. I'm like, well, bro. Or like, maybe call the police. At this point, a crime has been committed. Call the police. They've kidnapped your friend. No, they decide to like, go together and play XB against, and that was like the whole thing is like, the motorcycle dude was like, well, I know you won't play XB with me unless I like, whatever, motivate you, so I'll kidnap your friend, and she's like the bargaining chip, and I'm like, well, she was their catcher, so like, I kept hoping she would like come out and play with them, but like, I guess that wouldn't make sense either, because they're holding her hostage, and it's like, if she came out and played with them, they could just grab her and run off, and that'll be it. So they play for her, whatever, well-being or whatever. And like that's like kind of stupid because how do I put this? Like, I don't know, like they try and frame it as like, oh, well, like the whole point was like motorcycle guy was like, oh, I know you guys, have fallen into disarray, and like you need like the kick in the butt to like reform your team and get back on the horse, so to speak. So, and everyone like instantly forgives him. They're like, oh well, you had like extreme methods, but like kidnapping, but like everyone takes a very like ends justify the means attitude. They're like, well, no harm, no foul, because like you did get us to like band together and play as a team again and reform the tribe, so it's okay. Let me remind you that like yes, they do like they keep her in this trailer, they keep Arisugawa in this trailer and they give her snacks and stuff, but like one of the biker guys who like kind of looks like a gecko, like he says in no uncertain terms, he's just like, oh yeah, like we're gonna like have some fun with you, like he pretty much says like they're gonna RAPE her, and again holding her hostage against her will, threatening her with sexual assault. All water under the bridge. They play XB, they have a good fun game, and then they're like, oh yeah, like your methods were extreme, but you got us to play baseball again. I'm like, yo, wow. And then in the next arc, when the biker gang is like playing against Ojiro's team, they're like rooting for the biker gang, and I'm like, guys, like, do I need to remind you that they kidnapped your friend and threatened to do horrible things to her? Like, why are, oh, well, we beat you in a baseball game. It's the shonen rule. It's like, even you were this horrible villain in the last season, but Goku and his friends beat you in a fight, and now we're best friends, and now you're a common ally or whatever. It's all shonen bullshit. Anyway, but yeah, like, and that was a crazy battle too, because the biker gang, like, literally, like, they'll hit the ball, right, and then they get on their bikes and they drive across the city to first and second base. That's how they they do the home run so quick, because they're all on motorcycles. And like that's when like all the people like object. They're like, well, ref, umpire, bot, or aren't you going to do something? And that's when it's like, no, because they show that like no, these aren't motorcycles, these are our special cleats, and they show how like the cleats are attached to the motorcycle like pedals or whatever, and they literally slip their feet into the motorcycle, so they get away with calling it like, oh no, it's our XB gear. I'm like, oh my god, this is so ridiculous. I love it though. I love it. I love this main dude too, because his whole thing is he's always drinking, right? And what he does is he spits alcohol on his bat, and then he like strikes it like a match, and so now he has like a flaming baseball bat. He does the same thing to his pitches too. He like lights them on fire with alcohol. It's pretty epic actually. All the characters are crazy over the top, if you can't tell, and I love them. But yeah, so during this game, while Arisugawa is kidnapped, that's when this dude suddenly shows up, and it's a little awkward, but he's like, oh, hey guys, I'm here to help. I see you're losing horribly, and I was Kamiya's friend, who he's never mentioned until now. Hi, I'm Aoyama. What you find out later is Aoyama does have an ulterior motive, obviously. Like, why would he just suddenly help this team? They really do need him, though. They're getting their asses handed to them by the bikers. But yeah, Aoyama and Ojiro go way back. It's actually like the show kind of becomes about that, where like they used to be best friends, they grew up together, but like Ojiro turned to the dark side, and Aoyama wants to save him and show him like the good side of baseball or whatever. But Aoyama openly admits, he's like, yeah, I'm not part of your team so much as like you are all like my pawns on my chessboard in my chess game with Ojiro type of thing. Like, I'm not really your friend or nothing. And they're like, oh, should we work with this guy? But we kind of need him. He's actually really smart. He's a good tactician. Aoyama does like really great stuff where like he'll like have them like spill oil drums by quote unquote accident across the field. So then when the bikers drive their motorcycles, they like crash horribly. Like it's pretty funny. But the rest of the team is like, oh, well, that's like kind of underhanded. Like, we don't want to win that way. And Aoyama has this great line where he's like, oh, I'm sorry. He's just like, he kind of like stutter. He like kind of like is on tilt for a second. He's like, I'm sorry. I thought that your friend was kidnapped. I thought that like we were fighting for her freedom and safety against these like horrible people who are going to do horrible things to her. I'm sorry. Like, do we really want to like be pulling our punches right now? I thought like, I'm sorry. Honestly, he had a point. Honestly, he has a point. He's like, oh, we're supposed to play nice with like the guys who kidnapped your friend, who are already breaking the rules left and right. Oh, we have to play nice. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Aoyama's pretty great. They're all pretty great. I mean, honestly, Haru's pretty great. I love Arisugawa. She's like my favorite girl. Dude on the right never does anything. He's worthless. Dude on the far left, he's pretty worthless as well. I like Taiga a lot. Let's talk about Taiga for a second. So Taiga, Okay, so his whole thing is like he's really, really strong, and he's a fisherman. So like when he swings the bat, it's not like you would swing a baseball bat. The way he swings is more like the way you would like cast a line, the way you would like hold a fishing rod, if you will. So he always misses. And what he finds this like other fisherman dude to like train with, and it's really funny. That's actually my favorite episode when they like train him. So basically, I know the video's going on long. I'm gonna wrap this up soon. I'm just gonna like talk about a couple more things. But so yeah, he trains under the fisherman guy, but it's one of those things where like his master is like, oh, I don't teach anymore. Like I don't want a pupil. Like go away. And Taiga just kind of has to keep badgering him. He's like, please, I'll do anything. Like please make me your disciple. Please teach me how to play XP better. And eventually the master caves. He's like, all right, I'll tell you what. You get three strikes. I'm gonna throw 3 pitches, and if you can't hit them, that's it. But if you hit one of my pitches, like I'll train you. And it's really, really funny what happens because Taiga's a moron, and so they do this like really basic trick on him where the master throws what he calls, here comes the vanishing pitch. So he'll go through the motions. He'll like go like that. And then his friend, who's the umpire behind Taiga, he also has like a ball concealed, and he waits until Taiga swings, and then the umpire will like throw it into his glove, like, oh, strike, here's the ball, and they just keep doing that because Taiga keeps on like watching the master's hands. He's like, I don't see it. I don't see the ball leave his hand. It's crazy. And so like they do that twice, and then the master's even like, I almost feel bad. Like this guy's so stupid. He's actually falling for this. But then what happens is Taiga, he gets mad and he swings so freaking hard. He creates like a vortex, and like the wind is so strong that Master drops the ball from his robe or whatever, and it rolls on the ground. And like that's it. Like at that point, it's like, well, do you? Because the umpire was about to throw the ball into his glove, but it's like at that point, it's like, oh well, either you admit you've been cheating, and there's 2 balls. Or because Taiga's like, oh, I must have hit it. Like there's the ball. It's rolling over there next to Master. So then the Master has to be like, yeah, I guess you hit the ball. That was really funny. So yeah, Taiga goes through this crazy fucking training, and like the Master just gives him like this giant log, and he's like, yeah, this giant tree trunk. He's like, you just like swing this like a million times every day, and then like I'll come get back to me, when you're done. And Taiga has like swung it so many times. He goes back to help his friends in their big match against Ojiro's team, but his master goes back to the forest and finds that like Taiga has like swung the log, so the trunk so many times he's like flattened the entire freaking forest. So yeah, what happens is when Taiga goes up to bat against the enemy, he swings and the ball goes flying backward, and everyone's like, oh, this was like the no-hit wonder. He always whiffed. Like how did he hit the ball? And Aoyama, who's like observant and smart, he's the only one. He's like, oh no, he never hit the ball. He never hit the ball. So the trick is, Taiga swings with such incredible intensity and power. He creates like a vacuum. He creates like a vortex, and like the wind that is created by his bat hits the ball. So like his hitbox is like everywhere. It doesn't matter if the physical bat hits the ball anymore. So he will always hit the ball no matter what. And I'm like, A, that's broken. B. Don't get me wrong, we're not exactly playing by the rules anyway, but like, I'm pretty sure that's a rules violation. Like, I'm pretty sure in order to count as a hit, your bat actually has to hit the ball. It should be a strike because he never hit the ball. But like, or at least like, what's it called? Like a ball, like when the pitcher throws it outside of bounds or whatever. So like, it should count as like a ball or something. Cause like, yeah, like I don't know, like you can't count that. Like he didn't hit the ball. Oh well, don't tell the umpire robot. The umpire robot didn't catch it, and Aoyama's not going to tell anyone, so it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, like so what happens later on in the series? This is where it gets like really fucking crazy. Like you think it's been crazy so far. The show finds ways to like up itself. So Ojiro's like father or whatever, the guy who's like running things, like he's like too sneaky, too underhanded. He's like causing too many deaths or whatever. So Ojiro straight up like punches him and kills him, and he's like, oh, I'm the emperor now. I'm the emperor of baseball, XB now. And under his new rule, he pretty much says like, oh, no rules. Like just do whatever. Only the strong will survive, and those are the ones worthy of fighting me in XB. So like I mean, before basically the rule was like don't kill it. Well, I mean, Ojiro already broke that rule, but like the rules were like, yeah, you can use force, but like not, you can't really use like straight up weapons. You can use XB gear, like motorcycles and stuff, but like you can't just like bring weapons to the field. You can't like you can't like just kill people, right? But now it's okay. So now lots of people are dying left and right, and it's a complete disaster, and the city has become a war zone. And that's not the XB that the main characters want to play anymore. So they challenge Ojiro's team, or rather Ojiro challenges them for a rematch, because he has a point. He's like, oh, I told you to disband, what the hell? So the second to last episode is actually my favorite. What happens is Ojiro has a second in command, this girl named Yui. She might actually be my favorite. It's between her and Arisukawa, but yeah, Yui is actually great. So does the thing where she's like, "Oh, Ojiro-sama, like you're these people aren't worthy of you. Like let me deal with them. If they can defeat me, then they'll be worthy of trying to fight you." So she actually steps up to the pitcher's mound first, and she takes off her jacket, and she's wearing this like crazy like. It's okay because it's XB gear. It's fine. But this like crazy outfit, this like baseball armor or baseball gear, baseball suit, and she literally has like jet engines in her legs. Like she can jump super freaking high to like, and she doesn't pitch. She like kicks the ball. So now it's just kickball at this point. But yeah, she does like a super high powered kick that no one can return. And then it gets even crazy because like all the other characters show, because she starts like completely destroying them, right? And then all the other characters that they've beaten in the past show up. They're like, well, we want to fight on Tribe 9's team, and then she's like, yeah, whatever, I'll allow it because I'm winning so much anyway. And then so she faces off against someone, and then oh yeah, it's Taiga's master, and he's actually doing really well against her. So then she just pulls out a gun and shoots him in the chest. And I'm like, what? But it's not against the rules, really, because like anything goes now. Murder, guns, like everything's cool. But then Ojiro steps in, and he's just like, you have dishonored me, you bitch. Like, get out of my sight. And I'm like, well, wait. And he's like, your underhanded tactics are no good, or whatever. And I'm like, but you said there's no rules, and you said murder is okay. I'm literally not sure why he's upset with Yui. I'm really not. I mean, I think she was just doing too well, and she was beating everyone, and then they still needed, Ojiro to fight them in the final episode. So they needed a reason for her to, like, leave. so Ojiro just, like, steps in and, like, dismisses her. He's like, no, you've done enough. Like, you've dishonored me, and I'm going to fight them because I don't like how you use underhanded tactics. How are there underhanded tactics when there's no more rules in this game? Yeah, all right, whatever. So then she freaks out, and then she's like, oh, okay, well, guess what? So Ojiro's like headquarters was like this floating castle over the city. So she like goes there, and she's like, all right, well, if I'm not on your team anymore, then I'm just gonna drop the floating castle on the city and kill everyone. So how about that? And then that's like weirdly kind of an afterthought, because they still continue the game. Like the cities is like falling, and they're still playing because they're like they're hitting like these crazy home run shots that'll like blow up a chunk of like the base that's falling or whatever. That's crazy to me that there aren't more like casualties, because they're constantly like blowing up buildings and like knocking off the roofs of like towers and stuff with their pitches and their balls, or just just alone hitting the baseball at like 1 billion miles per hour flying through the city. I'm sure that I'm shocked that I didn't like kill someone, like a bystander. Maybe they let the city know that like here like in Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, like they kind of they like cordon off like the roads that are being used for a duel or whatever. Like maybe they make an announcement that like no one go to this section of the city. It's being used for XB right now. And that's one like element that they introduced towards the end of the series that I found interesting, and I wish they explored it more. But like people begrudgingly admit, like people used to like XB as like a sport, or like there was a fan base already. But like as soon as Ojiro takes over and says like, oh yeah, like murder is okay, like use extreme methods like guns and knives and stuff. They talk about how like, oh, XB is like weirdly more popular, like more people are watching than ever. Like they find it more. People used to find XB boring. I don't know how you could find XB boring. I think baseball is boring, but like just regular XB, I would watch every single game of that. Like I would not find XB boring. But apparently in the world of Tribe 9, people were finding the sport boring, and so Ojiro actually succeeded in making it popular by spicing it up with like outright murder, basically turning it into Squid Game. Oh yeah, another episode I really liked was is he pictured here somewhere? Yes. Where is he? I lost him. Upper right corner, yes. The dude in like the COVID mask next to the cyber demon guy. Guy in the upper right corner. So his whole thing is he runs a gang, and they like really don't play by the rules. This is before Ojiro, so there's no rules. But yeah, they'll like murder people, and like there's a really funny part where like they don't know how to play baseball, so like they're losing by like 100 points, and at that point you would have just like ended the game, right? But yeah, Tribe 9 is winning by 100 points, and then the other team starts to cheat, but they like bust in all these people, like all of their other henchmen, because they're literally just a gang, and they bust in all these henchmen, and they just have them start running bases, like, oh well, we'll just have 100 guys run 100 bases, and then we'll catch up to you. And it's just like, and like the other team's like trying to stop them by like tackling them. They're like, there's too many, there's 100 of them, we can't stop them all, they're gonna keep running home runs and they're gonna catch up to us. And like that was really funny. I love Tribe 9. It's so fucking crazy. And that's where some of the death toll comes in, because this fucking guy, he doesn't care about his henchmen. Like he'll like shoot, they all have like guns and rocket launchers and shit, and like he'll like shoot a sign and drop it on 5 guys and just like kill them. Like, I'm talking about like his own henchmen. Like he literally doesn't care. He's like the Joker. He's like, I like chaos, I want to spread chaos or whatever. But yeah, what else? So yeah, they're having the final battle with Ojiro, and like the city, the like base is falling on them or whatever, and it's basically between Haru and Taiga and Aoyama versus Ojiro. Oh yeah, when they had their falling out, that was so weird. Like Aoyama wears this weird cast on his arm, so when they had their falling out, Ojiro was like, I'm going to crush your arm so that you can never play baseball again. I'm like, oh my god, so dramatic. But they have their falling out, and he is like, you know, I'm the strong one, you're the weak one. You have to, I get to survive and you don't. So you don't get to play baseball anymore. So he like steps on his arm and crushes it forever. And so Aoyama wears this weird ass cast, and he's like, I can't play baseball anymore. My arm's in a cast. And then, of course, you know what's coming. In the last episode, he pops off the cast, and of course, he can still play baseball. It's like, oh, okay. Well, so why'd you say you couldn't? I thought the whole point was that you couldn't play anymore. And of course, he has like this like super duper arm that's, you know, firing off super punches or whatever. And like he and Ojiro have like a Shonen DBZ fight, and it's great. But yeah, and Taiga is also incredibly strong because of his strength training, so he's able to land a couple good blows on Ojiro. And Haru, to his credit, just like in episode 1, he shows off his incredible like dodging skills. So like even though Ojiro has the ball and he's like trying to like tag him or tackle him, like, you know, Haru is just like dodging like a boss 24/7. So like they have that's a really great scene. Is like, you know, if you get to the last episode, you're gonna appreciate how like Ojiro. There's a scene where Ojiro and Haru are like running at each other, like getting ready to punch each other, and in the background there's like imagine like a several reels of film, like just like playing all these scenes from throughout the series in the background. It's a really cool visual, and at the same time like the freaking, you know, sky fortress is like falling on top of them, so somehow nobody dies. Like they all rush to safety at the last second type of bullshit. But yeah, they have their final confrontation, and Ojiro wakes up, and Aoyama, you know, of course, like he like got punched so many times, and he learned the value of friendship and like how to play baseball respectfully. And isn't baseball so much fun? Like, you know, and literally that's the line. He like learns that baseball is fun, and that's why he stops being such an evil person. And he learns that baseball is you know a team sport. he was playing literally by himself. He learns to stop playing by himself. He learns that baseball is a team sport that's best enjoyed with friends. So, you know, a nice little message. Very cheesy, very corny, but whatever. Yeah, so for me, what I find is that the further away from the actual sport it goes, the more I enjoy it. Again, Prince of Tennis, you introduce basically like Naruto type of powers, and I love it. I love tennis. I don't love real tennis. I love Prince of Tennis. Same thing with Tribe 9. If they just did like regular baseball, I don't know. I don't know if I would enjoy it that much, but because this actually fits like the insane Danganronpa character designs, so like the Xtreme Baseball that they play is incredibly entertaining, and I think it's appropriate for the art style. And I don't know. I loved it. I love this series. I loved it in the entire way through. I just wish it was longer. It's only 12 episodes long. A lot of shows are only 12 episodes, unfortunately. Like I said, if it was longer, like I wish we had gotten to know more about Kamiya, like his past as the Destroyer, like what made him change. And again, he would have been the perfect one to talk to Ojiro, you know, and he was like the team leader. So like he was the one who's like, oh, I used to be like you. I used to like be a killer, and now I learned how to play baseball and have fun with friends. Like he would have been the one who should have had the talk with Ojiro, but like his untimely demise really was like a shock. I mean, it was effective. It was very shocking. Like it's a very memorable, you know, episode. But I wish we had more time with him. I wish that like we fleshed out some more of these characters. Taiga's awesome, and so I like Taiga, I like Aoyama, I like Haru, I like Arisugawa. She's the best girl. And then some of the villains are very memorable. Like I said, I really like Yui, Ojiro's henchwoman, Ojiro's right-hand woman. But yeah, like, you know, surprisingly, big dude on the far right, and then like the little yellow guy, like they get no development at all. They're never at all useful at all, and that's kind of annoying. It's like you really should have fleshed out the cast a little bit more, but you know, whatever. And then we could have had more time to like delve into some of these other tribes and villains. Like again, I really am curious about, like, you know, we have like a magical girl here. We have freaking, you know, I don't know, this dude with like lightning for hair. We have freaking. You know, she's cute. I want to know about her. We have this tiger with sunglasses. We have this Amazoness woman. You know, I want to know about all these people. Like, if there had been more time, if we had a second season, we could have gone into like these other characters. But alas, even the game itself bombed. So it's very unlikely that this will get another season. And it's been years since season 1 came out, and I don't think we'll get a second season for Tribe 9. But who knows? A man can dream. But yeah, the game is not faring well either. So please support the game. Please watch the anime, and please support the game before it gets shut down in November. But yeah, this was an especially batshit crazy This is especially batshit crazy anime that I wanted to kind of do a video on. I got some more in the pipeline. It's just, again, I'm not going to do one on every single anime that I watch, but one that's like especially insane, I might do a video on. Like, for example, I watched one where, oh my god, I forget what it's called. It was like Running with the Wind or something, but like, imagine like a shonen action sports anime, but it's about like power walking. like team power walking. I'm not even kidding. Like, and it's the same thing as Tribe 9. It's like a made up special sport called Stride. It's called Prince of Stride. That's what it's called, Prince of Stride. But yeah, they have their own made up sport called Stride, and it's just like competitive extreme power walking. And it's like really intense, where they do a good job of making it intense. Like, people get really hurt somehow. But yeah, this is definitely one of my top sports anime of all time. Like, I really love Tribe 9. I might rewatch this someday, just for like the cool battle scenes with like the cool like battle music in the background. But yeah, I'm gonna like look at more into like other series that this artist has done. Danganronpa, the anime, has there's like a season 1, and then they like adapted the third game for an anime. There's also Akudama Drive, and then there's like a couple other video games that this artist has worked on. So I'm gonna look into all of that, and I might do another follow-up video on the game Tribe 9 if I have anything else to say about that, because I didn't like go too far into that, to be fair. But yeah, that's about it for this anime review. So let me know what you think. I rate this anime a 10 out of 10, and I highly recommend it to all sports anime fans. So yeah.